have a seat, make yourselves comfortable. So, Lex Autolease, how's it been? How's it going? Is it a busy year?
Very busy.
2026, it's all happening, isn't it? So just for the benefit of the audience at home or in their offices, can you just tell me a bit more about, who are Lex Autolease? What do you do?
So I'll kick off and then you can pick up. So Lex Autolease, we're biggest fleet management business in the UK. Have been for about 20 years, part of Lloyd's banking group. Lloyd's are the biggest retail bank in the UK, so we've got a really, really powerful and strong parent who makes sure that we've got everything we need, and we're at the forefront of everything for the UK. We're a UK-focused fleet management business, so deep expertise in everything UK. We're very, very focused, as I said.
Yeah, and if you look at the size of our fleet, Kate, we've 277,000 vehicles total. 158,000 in corporate and public sector business, and 75,000 of these commercial vehicles. So a lot of expertise. The people that we have cut across a number of different roles that are quite unique within Lex Autolease. So commercial vehicle engineers, which you will see a few of them on the stand today. We've fleet analysts who will deep dive into the data. And that data itself that we have cuts across over 600 sectors, and you've got sectors like business services, transportation, construction, where we have huge presence and huge insight to those that we can provide and help support customers with their decisions.
Those are really, really vast and very different sectors that you're working with. How do you apply your solutions to the different needs of those fleets? Because if you've got building and construction versus, office workers that just need to get up and down the country, how do you apply your expertise to deliver solutions to those different businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. And our customer base is incredibly diverse. So from a commercial vehicle perspective, I think I mentioned we've got a commercial vehicle engineering team. They will go out, look at the needs of the customer, look at things like the conversion that needs to be done. What's the job that the customer is looking for that vehicle to undertake? They will recommend the best conversion that would be fit for purpose. Look at the livery. Look at the most effective and efficient way of running that vehicle. And equally from the car fleet perspective, we have a consultancy team who will help delve into the needs of that business and understand how many miles a driver will do, what's the type of driving, what's the correct solution that will fit, whether it be finance, lease, contract hire, or indeed intra-salary sacrifice. So a full diversity to fit whatever the needs are of those businesses.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say there's no such thing as a vanilla fleet, and that's what we bring. So we do everything from one vehicle to 20,000 and everything in between. So having those expertise across all those different sectors, and where we've got a sector that perhaps we're less represented in, we've got, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the bank backing us, so that Lloyd's are deeply into every single sector in the UK. So wherever we fall short of a bit of understanding, we know we've got somewhere to go to give us some more insight.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Very, very professional and lovely answers. Nice and simple. That's what we like. So what do you see as the top 3 challenges across the LCV fleet management aspect specifically? Because it is different to driving a usual passenger vehicle. I've recently had my own experience of driving an LCV for a week whilst I was moving home. It was an e-Sprinter, and it was great fun. But the way that I charged it and the way that I drove it was vastly different. So can you just talk us through that process?
I'll go first again. So yeah, I'll take the easy one, seeing as you led me into it. So yeah, I think ZEV mandate and EV is the #1 challenge today, but I'll extend that slightly. In the last 6-8 weeks, that's become a fuel issue. So clearly we've got massive price inflation in diesel, potential availability issues in diesel, on the backdrop of ZEV mandate, vehicle price inflation, unstable residual values and contract hire pricing. So it's just a whole massive range of issues around how to fuel and run your fleet. You'll hear during the course of today some more detail about how we can do that. I won't go into lots of detail here, that's been covered. But I think the most important thing people need to understand is you don't need to do everything all at once. We fund 1 in 8 electric vehicles on the UK roads today. So we know what we're talking about. And from us, to our last question, we're problem solvers really. So come to us with your problem, and we'll help you find a way through. But don't expect that it's going to be a light switch and we give you a solution today and you're up and running tomorrow. It doesn't need to be like that. So we'll try and take the pressure off and just kind of guide and help that particular problem over a longer period.
Yeah, so I think you asked for top three. I would say the second and third are intrinsically linked, which is the cost of running a commercial vehicle fleet and how you keep your vehicles on the road. The cost of running an LCV fleet has exponentially grown since COVID. Cost of fuel that Paul touched on, but the SMR costs, the paint, material, labour, cost of accidents have all increased dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years. So, so businesses are thinking really carefully about the length of contracts that they take their commercial vehicles over, how they fund them, and making sure that it's the right vehicle for job, and look for a bit more flexibility within that contract. And if you think about the biggest cost is off-road. If a vehicle's off-road, for a commercial vehicle, depending on the complexity of that vehicle, that can cost anywhere up to £5,000 a day. It's an incredible expense for a business. So, within Lex, we've recently launched our new Lex Uptime Plus, which is aimed at taking a proactive approach to using data to keep vehicles on the road. And we did a pilot last year with 5,000 commercial vehicles. We saw the average off-road time come down from 10 days to 5 days. So, real success. And the businesses participated in that have given us a huge thumbs up that that's a product which we're now taking to market.
That's amazing, thank you. And I think, hearing the statistic, 1 in 8 vehicles is a really impressive stat. So just to clarify then, the main concerns of new fleet operators coming to you is the length of their contract and uptime being on the road. If you could pick one or the other, where would you focus? If you were speaking to somebody and they said, I've got this fleet, I really want to electrify it, I'm not sure what I should be looking at as my top priority going out into the marketplace when I'm looking at different providers, what for you is the most important?
I would say the same thing. So if we take the most simple example, an EV van, the example of the van you took recently, there's much fewer moving parts, there's much less to go wrong, and actually the uptime is much better. We've got enough data now that can point to that in terms of the actual vehicle itself. Then you take into account the charging dynamic you talked about where do you charge, especially if you run a fleet of vehicles where the driver's taking the vehicle home, no off-street parking perhaps, or no ability to charge. That's the bit that's difficult. But the payback is there. If you can get the uptime, the benefit, and then you can get the charging and work that in, that definitely helps. And then costs will start coming under control. That's my view anyway. I don't know if you've got a different one.
Yeah, and just to build on that, I think as Paul alluded to earlier on, there isn't one size fits all in terms of that kind of approach. So what's the kind of one thing? It will be a blended approach is the reality. So we see strong evidence of vehicles that are very fit for the transition to EV today, particularly in small panelled vans, which are doing relatively low mileages in locals, and they have the opportunity to either be charged at home or at depot, and businesses can take them on with a bit of confidence in terms of the product's proven now and it's got that reliability, less moving parts. But equally, that kind of transition can be taken over a more protracted period in terms of the kind of evolution. And we've got a proposition which we're working with a business called Voltium at the moment, whereby we're helping customers on that kind of transition to look at which vehicles are relevant now for that transition and which ones might be 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And it will be that kind of blended approach to balance the cost and the move towards electrification.
Amazing. So the benefits of businesses coming to Lex Autolease is that you have that experience. 1 in 8 EVs on the road today are from you guys. So you do really offer that full 360 support service in-house. That's amazing. Thank you very much for your time. We've only got 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I could keep you here a little bit longer, but I might get in trouble for that. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.